Hello and welcome back. Today we'll be covering the bookings process. We will start with searching products and the search filters that do come off that, and we'll look at the different types of results screens that are available to you. During the booking process, you'll be presented with a shopping cart. We'll go through the full functionality of the shopping cart, including edits, before we move on to confirmed bookings and payments. We will then finish up with having a good look at itineraries and correspondence. Now, I am working in a training environment today, so the training console looks exactly like your staff console. However, you will find that locations will be slightly different, as will operators. Whenever doing training, please make sure you are working in a training environment and not a live console. So to start with, when we're talking about bookable product, i.e. accommodation, tours, tickets and car hire, there are two main areas on the dashboard. Firstly, you'll notice a big white bar which will allow you to search for your bookable product. You will also find this information is in the blue menu bar at the top. The advantage of this is it doesn't matter what area of your dashboard you go to, you will always find your main booking icons are visible at all times. So we're going to start with an accommodation booking firstly. So I'm going to click on the accommodation icon at the top. And when you do that, it will bring up a search filter for you. And you will notice that there are two tabs. The first tab, My Operators, refers to any operator that has been linked to your BookEasy console, most commonly via a membership agreement. This means that when you are searching via this tab, you are bringing up your most common and most used operators, generally talking location specific. The second tab is to do with the BookEasy distribution network, which covers the ability for you to book outside your main area and target market. For the remainder of today's tutorial, I will be working in My Operators only. Please refer to a separate tutorial on the BookEasy distribution network. So I'm now working with a search filter that only has My Operators, and you will notice there are quite a few different fields. When you first go to this area, it will automatically default to today's date and for 2 nights and 2 adults. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the arrival date to a date in the future. You may either use the arrows to find the appropriate date in the calendar. You may also, if you prefer, type in the appropriate date. I am going to search for 2 nights and 2 adults. You also have the ability to search by children and infants. In addition, if you wish to be more specific, you also have the ability to search via location. It will default to all, but you do have the ability to choose one or more. In addition, you have the ability to search by accommodation type, and you also have the ability to search by facilities. With the sorting parameter, the system will default. It will automatically show real-time availability operators first, with on-request operators down the list. You may choose to change your sort filter to list alphabetically or to show price conscious from low to high. So I'll click on search, and all of your operators which have product available will appear. You will notice with each accommodation listing that there will be a minimum of 2 buttons. There will always be a green button that says available to show that for the search dates you have chosen, this property has availability. Due to the restrictions I have placed, I do not show unavailable properties. Next to that icon, you will notice there is an instant button confirming to you that this is an instant or real-time availability operator. In these cases, the rates and availability are guaranteed. you do not need to contact the operator to check availability. But if I scroll down, you'll notice towards the bottom of the list, this is where we'll see that with the Stringy Bark Motel, the rooms are stating as available. However, the request button tells you this is an on-request operator only. Any bookings or planned bookings must be checked with the operator prior to confirming. So we'll scroll back up to the top. We will look at the first property, Superb Studio and Suites. It tells you for the 2 dates, it has a price of $150 with a number 8 in brackets. Now that is the lead-in price for this property for the dates you have chosen. This does not tell you the type of room or anything on that level. It purely tells you for the 4th and 5th of February, if you wish to book this product, it starts at $150 per night at this property. To get more information on the property, you have 2 options. The first option is to click on the book button, and what that does, that will expand the information for this property. So now we can see for the Superb Studios and Suites, there are 3 rooms that are available: a studio apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment, and a 1-bedroom apartment with kitchen. We do have appropriate images displaying, plus you have the ability to click on the More button to get more information. This will always be dependent on the operator providing this information within BookEasy. On the right-hand side with each room, this is where the specific prices come in. So for a studio apartment, we can see we have a room available, and for the 2 nights we have chosen, it is $150 per night. The number 8 in the bracket refers to the number of rooms currently available. It is important to note that the pricing is very clear for the dates you have chosen. If your client is wanting to inquire about a 3rd night, do not assume the price is the same. You do need to go back and change the search parameters. As an example, I'm going to change it to 7 nights and refresh. And we do notice in this case that the room prices have stayed the same, but if we scroll down, we will notice with the Sunset Canal Apartments, if you do book the 7 nights, 2 of the rooms are coming back with a pay stay deal. So it is very, very important that you do use the search parameters effectively. So the book button allows you to expand information, and clicking on the green button again will collapse that information. In addition, you have the ability to get far more detailed information. And this is really, really helpful if you do not know this property. What you can do instead is click on the button that says View, and it brings up more detailed information. You have a very quick summary on the left-hand side, plus you have information about the rooms that were visible on the previous screen. But you'll notice there are 4 other tabs. If we click on About, it will tell you about the business description and the point of difference that is feeding directly from the operator's console, in addition to the contact information. If we scroll down, we do have a Google Map, a very effective tool when you're selling within your booking center if you do not know the area, as you are able to zoom in and move around the Google Map, being able to answer questions like how far is the property away from the beach, shopping center, nearest road, etc., etc. If I scroll back up to the top, I also have the ability to see the photos that have been loaded into the members console, plus all of the facilities. Unfortunately, this operator has not listed any facilities, which does not assist this with marketing. In this case, the first thing I would do after I've dealt with my client is I would contact the operator and ask them to update their console with the correct information. The final tab has the operator's cancellation policy. This information always appears online, but when you are doing bookings face-to-face via email or via phone, etc., it is extremely important that you portray this information to your client as you are accepting this on the client's behalf. So I'll go back to book, and after discussing with my client, I am after a 1-bedroom apartment, which is coming in at $220 per night. So what I'll do is I'll click on available. Again, it will bring up the operator's cancellation policy. It is very important you portray this to your client in addition to your booking centre's cancellation policy. And we'll notice that we do have 3 options here. You can cancel, which is quite obvious, that will cancel and go back. But with the other 2 buttons, cancel and check out is the fast approach. That is where the client is saying to you, I want this property and I am not required to book anything else. I wish to go straight to the checkout. Whereas add to cart means, please place this room in a shopping cart and I wish to continue by searching for other properties and or tours. So what I'll do is I will click on add and check out. What has happened now is that the system has gone through the operator's console and it has extracted availability for the room. So in this case, a 1-bedroom apartment from the Superb Studios has been taken out of the operator and placed into a reserved area in a shopping cart. This is extremely important, especially if your operator uses a channel manager. Although the operator has not received confirmation at this stage, the availability has been removed from inventory and there is absolutely no chance of a double booking. We are in a shopping cart. Picture a shopping cart like when you are going around a supermarket. You can add to it, you can take things out of it, and you can change your mind. So when you are dealing with your client, you can confirm at this stage that we are looking at a 1-bedroom apartment with the Superb Studios and Suites, arriving on the 4th of February 2019 for 7 nights and 2 adults at a total price of $1,540. If the client is happy, you can go to the next stage. However, the client, if they turn around and say, oh, I actually require 8 nights, as you are in a shopping cart, you can change the nights to 8. The shopping cart will ask you to revise your changes, and the system has gone through inventory, checked availability and come back and said, I can do the 8 rooms. The total price is now $1,760 and that has been placed in a shopping cart. Once your client is happy and they wish to proceed, we can click on the button that says proceed to check out. The next screen allows you to look at customer details. Now it must be noted at this stage that we do still have a live shopping cart. The room has been reserved, but it has not been confirmed at this stage. The operator has not received confirmation yet. But at this stage, you would ask your client the question, have you booked through us before? As you are maintaining a client database, there is the possibility for you to search for existing client details and to retrieve this information. The last thing we want to see is having a client duplicated in your database. It can lead to multiple communications, etc. But in this case, I do have a client who has never visited us before, and so I will enter their details. You'll also notice that some fields do have red asterisks. These are compulsory fields that have been set up at your booking centre level. So we will complete this information. Once the information has been entered, we'll just click on the button that says Make Booking or Sale. You'll notice that you have now been presented with an itinerary screen, noting in the top left-hand corner that you do have the words confirmed itinerary with a number, but on the right-hand side, the most important thing to note is that your shopping cart is now 0. You have gone past the level of a shopping cart. This is a confirmed booking now, and your operator has received an email confirming this booking. In addition, if you enter an email address for the client, they have also received an email confirming this booking. This booking is worth $1,760 and the client wishes to pay this via cash. So they are a nice cashed up client. So what we do at the payment stage is we will go down to the bottom, and if we move across to the area that says record other payment, and you are now presented with a payment screen. The payment screen will auto-populate with your name and location, plus the amount due on the reservation. I will look at part payments with our next example, but in this case the client did pay in cash, and when you select cash you will notice that it will come up with additional fields. So at this stage the client owes you $1,760 and they do present you with $1,800, so you can enter that in the amount tendered and you are told that the change due is $40 and click on Save Payment. This booking has now been paid in full. Now that the booking has been paid in full, I do wish to go through and just explain the layout of the itinerary at this stage. So what you'll notice is that whereas before it said confirmed, it now says confirmed closed. Closed and confirmed refers to all future dated bookings that have been paid in full. And with the itinerary, there are 4 major pods. In the top left-hand corner, we do have the summary pod. This is the area that summarises our itinerary, including the person who booked it, the staff member, and location, plus the total of the itinerary and whether there is any balance due. From this area, you also have the ability to view itineraries, email itineraries, etc., which I will cover a bit later. On the right-hand side, we have the client pod, information about this client. This is a new client, Jay Walker, who has now been captured in your database and is available for future bookings. It also has an email trail to show you the automated emails that have been sent to this client. You also have the ability to click on the client's name if you wish to update information. Going down to the centre of the itinerary, and that's where we have the bookings pod. In this case we only have one booking, but it does show that it is a confirmed booking with the date it was made, operator name, arrival date, number of nights and people, and a detailed description. It will always show the gross total, and the commission will always be 0 at this stage as we have not paid the operator. We can also see that an automated email has gone to the operator. The final piece of the puzzle is the payments pod. This client did pay with cash, which has now been reported in the itinerary with a payment number, an amount, and the staff member paid this with cash. So this is a confirmed itinerary. Although an itinerary has been emailed to the client, you do have the ability to view and print an email. So if we go to the summary pod, what we're going to do is click on View Itinerary, and this is what our itinerary looks like. This is the same itinerary that has been emailed to the client. Your logo will appear at the top and introductory text that has been customised to your booking centre. Your booking centre may have a banner, and then you have all of the information about the client, the total value of the itinerary, details about the booking, operator's terms and conditions, and your booking centre's terms and conditions. You should also have your contact details appearing at the bottom, whether this is in a logo format or banner format or purely typed in. If this information is missing, please reach out to your supervisor who will go through and adjust the itinerary setup as appropriate. This itinerary may be printed. In addition, you do have a button here that says Send Reservation Confirmation. When you click on that, it will send the latest up-to-date itinerary to the client email on file. Please refer to a separate tutorial to cover notes, emails and flags for sending emails to other addresses. So we've done our first booking, just a one-off booking. What we're going to look at now are some multiple booking itineraries and part payments. So although I am in the main screen here, I can click on the appropriate buttons in the blue menu bar if I wish to proceed with another accommodation booking. In addition, I can click on Book Easy and it will take me back to the dashboard. So what I'm going to do is I've got a client who wishes to book 2 rooms and a tour. So I'm going to click on accommodation, and the date I'm after this time is March. If you do know the name of the operator that you are wishing to search, you can go up to the quick search area and simply start typing in the name of the operator. You'll notice now that the operator Airport Chalets has appeared, and the most important area is that blue word that says operator. That tells you that you have found a linked operator and there is no chance of any spelling mistakes, etc. In this case, I am wanting to book 2 nights, and I do have 2 adults. However, they are 2 separate people who are wishing to have separate rooms, maybe a brother and sister. For that reason, I am going to change the search filter to 1 adult, and when I get my results, I will have to ensure that I do have 2 rooms available. I did mention earlier that the system will show you only rooms that have available product. You may choose to go over to the restrictions and untick the button that says must be available. What that will do is it will list all properties whether or not they are available. So I'll click on search and I'll notice that the Airport Chalets is available and my starting price is $125 per night. I don't know what type of room it is, so I will click on either book or view to get more information. So I'm going to click on view and I can see that I've actually got 4 different room types, and this is quite interesting. When you do have 2 people that want separate rooms, you could turn around and say, I do have Runway Chalets available. I can see I've got 4 available, so we could book 2 of those, which would be $250 per room. Alternatively, the client might prefer to take a 2-bedroom chalet, which does come in a bit cheaper. But this time the client is definite that they wish to have 2 of the Runway Chalets. So each chalet is $125 per night for the 2 nights chosen. So I'll click on available, but this time, after portraying the cancellation policy to the client, I will click on add to cart this time. What has happened is that the room has been added to the shopping cart, but I am left in the generic search screen. So for the second Runway Chalet, I go available and click on add to cart again. At this stage, I can click on the shopping cart icon and that will open up the shopping cart for me. I can now clearly see that I do have 2 times Runway Chalets booked for my client, and each chalet comes in at $250 at a total of $500. If one of those is an error, you can delete from the shopping cart. If you are ready to check out, you can click on this blue button. But I'm going to close the shopping cart because my client wishes to also book a tour on the 16th of March, which is the second day. So I'll click on tours. Very similar to the accommodation search screen, you have the ability to search by date. You can put in information about the operator. You also have the ability to search by adults, children, infant, concessions, etc., and the ability to search on location as well. So this time we do have 2 adults, and I'll click on the search page. The results are slightly different to accommodation. This time each operator is shown in a tile style, but there are buttons that still look familiar to accommodation. We still have the book button that will expand information, or you can click on the view button if you wish to open in more detail on another page. It's worth noting with tours that an operator has the ability to make some of their product instant availability and other product on request. In the case that you can see in front of you, the first 2 choices, the short soiree at sunset and the leisurely soiree at sunset, both of those are real-time availability. Hence the button is green book. That means that you can confidently book this product without having to contact the operator via phone. The other products, the scenic transfers, etc., are appearing as on request. That means that you do need to contact the operator to check availability. In this case, the afternoon safari is not available for the day you have chosen, but it does tell you that if you change your dates to the 18th of March, I think it is, you will have availability. But my client is interested in the morning scenic waterfall tour, and the system tells me that I have 3 occurrences, that there is a departure at 7 a.m, 8 a.m and 9 a.m. Because this operator is on request, you do need to check this with the operator first, or that be it by phone or email. So if the client is in front of you, you'll just excuse yourself for a moment, and to get the contact details for the operator, all you need to do is click on the operator name and you'll get a pop-up screen. So in this case, I would simply dial the phone number, and when the person answers at the other end, just explain who you are. So my name is Chris from the booking centre. I do have a client wishing to do a morning scenic waterfall on the 16th of March 2019 to adults. Do you have an 8 a.m. departure available? If the operator says yes, it doesn't hurt to confirm the price with them, as they are a non-request operator. But this operator has confirmed they can do an 8 a.m. It is a total of $900, noting that that price is for the 2 adults. It is not a per person price. So I'll get off the phone with the operator. I'll explain to the operator, obviously before I hang up, that if the client does proceed with a confirmed booking, an email will automatically come through. So we'll click on request. The cancellation policy has come up that I will explain to my client. This is the final piece in the puzzle, so let's click on add and check out. For the scenario you've got in front of you, you will notice that the shopping cart has expired. You do have settings that if you take too long, your cart will expire, and that means that product has been released back to inventory. All you need to do is go attempt to reserve cart, and in most cases, it will automatically refresh and you won't have lost the information in your shopping cart. A reminder, this is not a confirmed booking. This is a shopping cart. You have the ability to edit. So at the moment, we can see that we do have 2 runway chalets at the airport chalet. You've got the arrival dates, etc., at a total price of $250 per room. You will also notice that you've got the East Coast Helicopter Flight Company that you have booked a morning scenic waterfall. What has occurred in this case is that the operator has put in some booking questions, and when the booking questions have an asterisk, they must be answered. So the question is, do you require an airport pickup? So what we're going to do is we're going to say yes for the first one, but because I guess in this case it is a repetitious room, we'll just tick no for the second one. And the helicopter company has asked for details about the client in terms of weights. So we will put in their name and their weight and the second person. It also asks in this case, do you have a pickup location? Coincidentally, my clients just happen to be staying at one of the places that does a pickup, so we'll select the airport chalets. And whenever you enter booking questions, you will automatically get a click here to revise changes. The shopping cart has now refreshed and accepted the questions that you have put in. Important to note 2 things. Your shopping cart has now reset, and when emails go to the operators and the clients, the booking questions will be visible in the emails and itinerary. But we'll also notice with the airport chalet, because I said yes to do you require an airport, secondary questions have appeared. I need to enter my date of arrival and my flight number, and in this case the operator has given a drop-down list. And again, I need to refresh my changes. Another situation may occur where you are required to override a price. Normally in these scenarios you would do everything in one step. I am simply breaking this up and piecemealing it for training purposes. But for the East Coast Helicopter Company, when you contacted the operator to check availability, they did come back and say that they were doing a special price. You have the ability to override prices. And when you do override a price, prior to clicking on the revise changes button, you do also need to click on override total. That is a deliberate roadblock to make sure that the cart will not refresh to a new price unless you are answering, am I sure? So now I do have 3 bookings in one shopping cart at a total price of $1,350. So what we'll do is we'll proceed to checkout. And again, we would ask the question, have you booked with us before? In this case, the client has identified they are a repeat client, so we can click on search for existing client details and ask the client their first name or surname would be better, email address, etc. So this client, if it was a very long surname, you could put in the first 3 letters. The system has now searched your database and come back with all clients that meet the search criteria. In a real environment, you will have phone numbers and emails, etc. for 2 reasons. One, it is important if you're using existing client details, you get correct information for privacy. Secondly, this shows how important it is to put this information in when you are making bookings for a new client. So I do have the correct client, Timothy Tam, goes by the name of Tim, and what I'm going to do is click on Make Booking. We will notice now that we have a confirmed booking. The shopping cart is empty, and Mr. Tam's details have been entered into the itinerary. So let's reiterate, we have a summary pod. The total value is $13.50. It has been unpaid with a balance owing. We do have our client Timothy Tam. In this case, we do have 3 bookings attached to one itinerary. In each case, an operator has received an email, and for privacy reasons, the East Coast Helicopter Flight Company does not receive information about the other 2 bookings. But payment needs to occur. And with the $1,350, the client has decided that they are going to pay half with a credit card and the other person in the party is going to pay half on EFTPOS. So $675 each. When a client is paying by credit card, you have the ability to either use an EFTPOS machine or to put it through your gateway payment console. I'm going to choose the latter. I'm going to put it through the gateway payment, which is the same mechanism as if a client was booking online. So I'll click on Make Gateway Payment, and I will get a similar payment screen. So again, we can see that total due is $13.50. I'm going to override that to $675, which is half, and gateway. You may choose to put in a description, like you may wish to put in the name of the person, even though this will appear with the card. You'll notice underneath the red warning that this is where you'll enter the client's credit card details. So in this case, the client is paying with Visa. We can put in the card holder's name and the credit card number, the expiry date, and the CCV on the back of the card. When I click on Process Payment, your payment gateway will charge this client the appropriate amount from their credit card. This is a live payment gateway. Whether you use Payment Express or Secure Pay or PayPal, this is live. So I'll click on Process Payment. And the payment has gone through a third-party provider. If successful, it will appear automatically in the payment pod. So you can see here that a gateway payment has occurred, and the receipt number is the receipt number generated by the gateway provider. In this case, we do have a balance owing of $675. The other person in the party wishes to pay this via EFTPOS. So you'll go to your EFTPOS machine and you will physically process $675 through EFTPOS. When and only when this is successful, we will click on Record Other Payment. And with the payment type in this case, it is EFTPOS. You can check it's $675, and it is recommended that you do put in the receipt number from the credit card receipt. Once you've done that, you can click on Save Payment. You will notice now this itinerary has closed, the balance owing is $0, and your payment pod does show the separate transactions clearly. It is also recommended that if a client is going to pay from the summary pod, we can also click and view the itinerary. And the itinerary shows all bookings, and if we scroll right to the bottom, you'll notice that both payments are clearly identified. It is worth noting as well that the booking questions are clearly displayed via the itinerary. If the client would also like a tax invoice, there is a button here that you can click here for the tax invoice. This is very helpful for your corporate clients that wish to pass something on to their accounts department that doesn't need the full details of the booking, just the payment side of it. So that concludes the tutorial on making new bookings. The next tutorial will cover complex bookings. Look forward to seeing you there.